Well, let's turn now to the Nigerian equities market. Of course, the local market continued its bearish run as All-Share Index plunged further on Thursday by 3.7%. Edidiong Inwang is here to tell us more about what went down at the markets yesterday. Good morning, Eddie. The market seems to be sinking deeper and deeper. Tell us what exactly is going on.
Good morning, BC. Well, it's looking ugly in stock markets right now. And it's not just an African thing or an American or an Asian issue. It's a global problem. The question on everyone's mind now is, when is this going to end? Investor jitters about the coronavirus pandemic have sent shares sinking. In fact, the longest bull run in history for U.S. shares have ended. I'd just like to point out that in Nigeria, we began the year at the 26,000 level with the equity cap at 13 trillion naira. At some point, we rose to the 29,000 level with an equity cap of about 15 trillion naira. Now look where we are now. We're down to the 22,000 level. And the equity cap that was once at, 15 trillion naira has gone all the way down to 11.827 trillion naira. That brings the month-to-date and year-to-date losses at minus 13.4% and minus 15.5% each. Now, just like in Wednesday's trading session, we saw a huge turnover of total volume, value, and deals traded. Now, of this 9.80 billion, naira traded, GT Bank, Zenith, and UBA contributed 7.9 billion naira. Now, you can only imagine what the banking sector looks like. That counter shaved 8.51%. The lenders were either down 10% or 9% or 8%. Consumer goods was also negative by 2.74%, and that was due to losses from flour mill, Nigerian breweries, and Vitafoam. The industrial goods sector was down by 0.93% as Lafarge and Qtix declined. Now, the insurance sector, which was the sole gainer for the day on Wednesday, was down by 5.22% due to profit-taking of shares of WAPIC, AXA Mansard, ICO, and Custodian. The oil and gas sector was down by 0.282%, and that was due to losses, the 10% loss from Oando. Now, if we move over to the unlisted securities market, that counter was unchanged yesterday, but the NESE index was higher at 707.65 points. In all, we saw a total of 164 million units worth 158.37 billion naira traded in 14 deals. Now, moving to the fixed income market now, the bond market was bearish yesterday as yields expanded by 40 basis points to 11.16%. Now, yields expanded across the short, mid, and long end of the curve. As we can see now, we had a lot of activity on this two dates, but we had about 44 deals or 24.49 billion naira. Now, the Treasury bills market saw some activity yesterday, although unattractive yields dampened investors' interest. There was some demand across board, but with minimal volume as market supply remains limited. In all, we saw just about 5 deals on that counter worth 54.40 million naira. Now, the OMO market was bearish yesterday as yields rose to 16.3% as foreign investors, continue to sell off due to the coronavirus worries and the falling oil prices. You see a lot of activity here on the October, date, but then, BC, that's it for the market. We hope and we keep our fingers crossed, to get some better news coming from that side of the market soon.
Absolutely, Eddie. Many thanks for those updates. And of course, we hope to be speaking with Rotimi Fakaijo in just a moment to tell us what direction the markets are facing this morning. When we return in just a moment, we'll do an opening call to the debt and currencies markets as well as in London. Please stay with us.